Hello, fellow Laymon fans. I'm here for another Richard Laymon book review. Let me take a drink, though. I really need a drink. I need this. Okay, so I got this from the library. I read it a long time ago, maybe like over 10 years ago, and I remember it being really good. So I was like, let me reread it. I remember really liking it. And it says 2001, and if I'm not mistaken, if you can help me remember, it's when he died, which sucks. I mean, if you're a Laymon fan, I mean, you know his books, you know his style, you know how great he is, and I think this is one of maybe top 10 books of his. My favorite top 10. I think this would make the list. And I can kind of sense a change. Because first of all, it's really good. I mean, it's just such a page. I read like 150 pages in a couple of hours, maybe like 2.5 hours. The next day, I was able to read another 100 pages, and it just ate it up. After all the horrible books I've read, it was such a joy to read this, and it's like 479 pages, so it's not anything like reaching up to 500 is a pretty like thick read in my book. So there's this guy, Ed Logan. He's going to college in a small town. I can't remember what state. He broke up with his girlfriend. He's really, busted up about it. So he decides to go for a walk to this all-night donut shop. And on the way there, he sees this girl, and he's just immediately enamored with her. He just pretty much falls in love with her on sight. So, like, he has to know who this girl is, but he follows her, and he sees her go inside a house. And there's some stuff with that, but then he winds up at the donut shop, and then he meets a friend of his ex, the girl that broke up, and meets one of her friends, Eileen, and immediately they strike up a relationship, and they have sex pretty much immediately after they leave the donut shop, and from there it's just Ed Logan. He's just obsessed with this girl that walks around at night, and he just has to find her. So he goes out the next night, and oh man, he meets this character named Randy, who's just pretty much a lunatic. And I don't want to give any more. I could just go on and on about the book, but this is a great read. There's the killer, the bad guy Randy, and there's Ed, his girlfriend Eileen, and then the girl that he follows, her name's Casey. And eventually, he does find her, and he befriends her, but in a very weird manner that he goes about meeting her. And that's pretty much it. There's, like I said, Randy, Ed Logan, his girlfriend Eileen, Casey, and another kid that he goes to school with called Kirkus. There's some other peripheral characters, but pretty much that's it. And pretty much it's just in a span of, man, I think like 3 nights. First night he sees her, then he goes out the second night. And that whole part where the second night where he goes out to meet her, that's like 60 pages. But it's great because Laymon just is so good. Just going for a walk in a Laymon book can be deadly and bizarre and freaky, and you meet all these weird characters, and it just he populates his universe with just maniacs and bums and freaks, and I forgot what Casey called them, like the zanies, the loony, something with the word zany. I can almost to me, like, I can, in a weird way, I compare Laymon to like the Marvel Universe, because the Marvel Universe is full of good guys like Spider-Man, Captain America, uh, Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers, and I'm trying to Daredevil. They're good guys. Like, they're gonna help you. They're always gonna do the right thing. In Layman's universe, pretty much they're all bad guys. Or the bad guys, they're gonna hurt you and they're gonna do the wrong thing. And even the guys who are supposed to be the good guys, they might, do something bad to you. Casey is a great character. She's weird. You really know nothing about her. Casey might not even be her real name. Ed Logan is kind of a bitch. He's kind of wishy-washy, but he's weird too. He'll do weird things. He straddles the line of being a good guy and doing the right thing. I did like the character of Kirkus. He's a jerk, but he has a reason for being a jerk. Eileen is cool, kind of slutty, really pretty, the kind of girl that you're looking for. I really like Randy, even though he barely comes out in the book, just a little bit at the beginning and a little bit at the end, a little more than the beginning. But Laymon can write like a villain that you kind of identify with and kind of root for. And he just takes the littlest thing and can turn it into something cool and memorable. And so, yeah, this is for all you Laymon fans. For those of you that have read it, I haven't given a rating in a long time. I give this 4 out of 5 Manos Hands of Fate. I want to give it 5, but nothing's perfect. But Night in the Lonesome October is damn near perfect for a book, a story, and it just pulled me in. I don't know about you, but I haven't read anything like Laymon since what's his name? Brian Keene is really good. He's almost as good as Laymon. He's the only writer who's consistently impresses me the way Laymon, not the way Laymon does. Definitely Brian Keene has his own style, but I know he's a big fan of Laymon. Kuntz is good, but really I have not found anyone. Lansdale, of course, he's great. But just books, of all the books I have in my little library, I haven't come up anything as good as Laymon lately. And I had such a terrific time reading this. Man, I don't know. I've read it twice, so I don't know if I'd read it again. But it was really good. There's only 2 kills and not much gore, but there's just weird behavior, just weird stuff. A lot of his books, he does lay the violence and blood and gore on pretty thick, but not in this one. There's just so much other stuff. So, oh man, I could just go on and on. There's just so many little stories. It's not really leading any towards any great climax like a lot of his other books. It's just kind of, and maybe in the middle, it does get a little like I was okay. Well, there's really no main story. It's just, but that's the story. Just Ed going out looking for Casey. It doesn't seem like it's leading to anything, but that was okay. In this case, I can overlook that. It was just so good to finally read something that was so good that I really loved. And I was thinking, who cares? They make movies out of books, and usually also there's so many books. Who cares anymore? Just come up with something original. But Laymon, I think he really needs to be taken onto the big screen finally. I think Mike Mendez could do a really good job with the Laymon story. Of course, I just saw Us, so Jordan Peele, he could probably do something with Laymon. Oh man, maybe the directors of Turbo Kid and Summer of '84. There's some other directors I think would really go hand in hand with Laymon, with the way he writes, and it'd be fine. Tone down the gore and the sex, because pretty much Laymon is pornographic, but yeah, his sex is not And like other books I've read, they really lay it on, like Edward Lee stuff. That's like juvenile. Layman is like pretty hot and steamy and like kind of get you horny too while you're reading. I don't know how he does it. Oh, he was so great. It's just such a loss to the literary world, to the horror world, really. And then I got this from the library, Alarms. I've heard of it, but I've never seen it. Oh, there he is. Look at him. Oh man, a novel of psychic suspense. Well, I'll read this, but read Not in the Lonesome October if you're a horror fan, if you're a suspense fan, if you're fiction. It's just great. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.